Worked on the pre-election Obama transition project, working on NEA. Then I was working in the transition. In that transition, obviously we were doing agency review of the NEA, the NEH, and the Institute of Museum and Library Services, the IMLS. But I was also, because I was invited to do so, working hard to get money for the three agencies as part of the stimulus package that was being put together in the transition. And then I was working hard on something that's a personal passion of mine, and it relates to an anecdote that begins the book, which is, the fact that the arts have been up or down in relation to different administrations, but they've always been attached as an amenity. They've always been connected to the White House through the East Wing of the White House, through the First Lady's office. Yeah. And so while it is encouraging that Barack Obama made robust promises to the arts in the campaign, and that the $50 million made it through, I think it's a very open question as to whether we're going to see an amenity-based administration in terms of its view of arts and culture, or whether we're going to see a closer integration between art and mainstream public policy. I memoed like crazy in the transition to encourage not an art czar, not a big deal in the cabinet, but someone managing an arts and culture portfolio in the Domestic Policy Council. Okay. So it would be part of mainstream West Wing policy making. And that means if there is an issue that comes up, whether it's health care or mainstream education or space travel, I mean, there would be someone in the meetings that would say, well, here's the capacity of the cultural agencies in relation to that issue. And by the same token, that person would come out of the White House and go to the agency and say, here's what's happening at the White House. Here's what you need to do to be part, not of art as an amenity, but art as a component of mainstream public policy. To me, the best thing about the $50 million in the economic recovery bill was that it treated the arts as mainstream parts of the economy. And it treated the NEA as an agency that was absolutely outstanding at delivering stimulus money quickly, responsibly, through a process of grant making it already had in place. It was ready to go. And frankly, from a pure economic stimulus perspective, the administration would be better off to have given it $1 billion. Right. I mean, it would have overwhelmed the field. No one would have known. But it had the architecture in place to deliver the money. NASA, the space agency, also got stimulus money. It hasn't even figured out what to do yet. The NEA money is out the door. And so I think that was the thing I liked about it best, was that it was almost the first time in which the cultural, that cultural agency was just treated as a regular part of government, serving the American people, doing regular work of government, and not as this sort of airy thing off to the side. And so I remain optimistic that as the administration continues to organize itself, we're going to see somebody strong in the First Lady's office, somebody strong in Valerie Jarrett's operation, and also somebody in the Domestic Policy Council, so that all three things will grow. But it's an open question, because I think President Obama is instinctively a cultural president. But I think you drop down one layer from him. I mean, just one layer. Yeah. And you've got everybody who's it's business as usual. We'll get around to arts and culture when everything else is funded. Oh, it's nice. Hey, do some things at the White House.